Hello everyone, Turn Burner here with another video for you guys. I'm going to talk about the pilot class, formerly known as Lizzie's class. What I'm not going to discuss as far as skill cards are the Silverback Scorcher, and I believe that's it. I'm not going to talk about Silverback Scorcher because I haven't specifically used this because it didn't work when the operation first started. If you guys have used this card recently and it's working for you, comment below. These skill card videos are meant to be more interactive because I can't play every class and I don't know everything about anything, or not, sorry, I don't know everything about everything. So it's important to know that if this card does work now, because the last video I saw on it said it didn't work, and last time I tried it didn't work. If it works now, you just comment below and you let me know. So, but yeah, let's get right into the pilot class. The pilot uses the powerful Silverback exosuit to survive tough situations and deal devastating damage to the enemy. So basically, Lizzie would get in her ultimate, say Born to Ride, and then use the guns on that ultimate to kill, massive amounts of enemies. Passive ability is the same as it's always been. Damage you take slowly recharges your ultimate. It's a common strategy in other operations would be to let Lizzie get down a bunch of times consecutively. That way she gets ult charged as she's getting hit by a drone or a juvie or something like that. So drones work better because they don't swap between COD teammates. They just keep hitting the same one. Juvies will tend to swap between teammates, and that can take a lot more time. But let's get right into the skill cards. I'm going to just, in this one, I believe I have virtually the exact same example stack for both Horde and Escape when I do play it, with minor tweaks, but I'll get into it. So Cold Finish is one of the better cards. So damaging an enemy with less than 25% health also applies 60% freezing damage. The most important thing is enemies freeze when they're a quarter of health remaining. So this could be good on a map specifically like maybe the line as an example. So maybe a teammate can headshot something and then Lizzie can freeze it, or hit something, Lizzie can freeze it. That way you can get another headshot. So that can be useful to neutralize enemies and stop them right in their tracks. Healing Tri-Shot. Equip the Silverback with Tri-Shot, which heals the Silverback for 80% of the damage dealt. Excuse me. So using this gun, and I strongly believe in having 2 healing guns. So I'll get into that later. But healing Tri-Shot works really well because every time you get a kill or hit with it, it heals the Silverback. So I know there's a time on the Warren where I'm getting lit up by those juvies, and I got like 3 headshots in a row. My Silverback was at low health, and then it healed it. So very, very useful card in that regard. The Hammer, 60% extra damage and 3 seconds of stun. There is no distance to this, so you can stun enemies, I don't want to say across the map because it is the drop shot, but far away, and they will get damaged and stunned. So it's kind of nice when neutralizing scions, things of that nature. So the Hammer can also be an effective card, if you will. I use this card for mainly Horde and sometimes Escape if there's a drop shot. Silverback Salvo, doing damage to Silverback will increase the duration of Silverback by 1.2 seconds. This is at level 5, 1.35 seconds at level 6. With the Silverback Salvo, and it's important to know this, it's not like the healing Tri-Shot or even the Mulcher where you have virtually limitless amounts of ammo. You only have, I think, 20 shots, so you have to kind of like pace yourself accordingly when to use a salvo, then go back to it. So, and I have a couple Lizzie videos I can go over to show you guys, but ultimately you need to kind of like go back and forth with like, okay, maybe shoot the salvo once and then go back to the Tri-Shot back and forth. So this if you want to be in the silverback longer, that's what I would suggest. I like using salvo and tri-shot for escape and horde because it extends the length of the silverback. I talked to a buddy of mine who disagrees with the logic of using the salvo and rather use the bleeding mulcher because of the bleed. I find the mulcher not powerful enough, and now there's new horde perks that may increase the damage of the mulcher, possibly. I don't know enough about it to be totally honest, but I still stand by the being in a silverback longer than it is to get the bleed in my estimation. So a card that's highly underrated, and it's probably I honestly might be the only one who uses it, is healing munitions. So healing munitions deals explosive damage with the silverback heals it for 110% of the damage dealt. So the important part of healing munitions is the fact that if you're using healing tri-shot and silverback salvo, because it only works with the salvo, right? Because it's the only one that deals the explosive damage off of the silverback. So if you have healing tri-shot and silverback salvo and healing munitions, you basically have two healing guns, which allows you to be in a silverback longer. And if you're dealing with like a mulcher scion, he's not going to destroy your silverback in a matter of seconds because you can just spam either gun and you're going to get healing. If you spam the salvo and have healing munitions, only you'll get more time in healing. If you spam the healing tri-shot, you'll just get the healing. So that'll allow you to survive a lot of scion encounters. Something that will neutralize the silverback instantly regardless is salvo scions, sentinels, freezing mulcher scions, enemy, maps that have the freezing sniper modifier like Ice Queen or the Split. So you have to be careful of, Ice Queen has the drop shot relic as well. You have to be careful of enemies that can just either have a salvo or can freeze you instantly from a distance. Or the Matriarch, the spike will kill the silverback instantly. So those things are kind of annoying, so you just kind of have to be mindful of that. Bleeding mulcher is an option if you rather that instead of the salvo. So equip the mulcher that causes bleeding for 50% of the damage dealt. This is an option if you want to do it that way. If you want to have, and keep in mind the silverback can have not no guns, but one or two guns. You don't necessarily need to have two guns, which can be weird, but depending on the map, you may only need one gun, depending on what your strategy is. So, but yeah, the bleeding mulcher, equip the silverback with mulcher that causes bleeding for 50% of damage dealt. Unless it's the mulcher song, in my experience, the mulcher seems to be incredibly, or Clayton, the mulcher doesn't seem to ever have that much power. So that's why I kind of steer clear of this weapon because I got better experience with the healing tri-shot and silverback salvo. There are some few instances that I've been in where a bleeding mulcher would have been better than a silverback salvo, but like over the course of a whole horde match or a whole escape match, in general, I find more value in healing tri-shot and silverback salvo. So epic score boost, if you want to use this class for Horde and Escape, you can get time bonus or team score bonus. Silverback Scorcher, like I said earlier in the video, I'm not going to talk about this card because last time I tested it didn't even work at all, so there's nothing to say. If you have experience now and it does work, I haven't seen any patch notes because I don't really look that intently to a lot of TC's material. But if you have information on this that it does work, comment below, mention that like, okay, this card works and you should use this instead of the salvo or something like that. The aggressive armor actually works way better than it did in other operations. I could have sworn in other operations there'd be times I'll get hitting something and not getting stem. I literally get stem off of every single hit now. It's way better than it used to be. Way better than it ever has been, I should say. So, but yeah, aggressive armor, very, very good card in my opinion. It allows you to get, like, if you're meleeing a bunch of juvies, you can, not the Warren, but like the other juvies, you can melee them and then get stim immediately back without dying. So like the first 5 juvies on Ice Queen, you can kill them all because you're going to keep not regenning, but keep getting stim from each, keep gaining and losing stim from each juvie hit or hit on them or versus the hit they do to you. So I like the card a lot, way more than other operations. Deep pockets increase ammo capacity for all pistols and for all pistols. It is entirely up to you if you want to use this card. I haven't used this card since my Lizzie pilot class has gotten a little bit higher, but I guess if you want to use more pistol ammo, that is your prerogative. I don't see a huge value in this card, but maybe I'm looking at it wrong. But yeah, I don't see a huge value in the Deep Pockets card compared to other ones. Healing Explosive. Explosive damage heals for 100% of the damage dealt. If there's a map with like salvos, this should work like a Thrill of the Hunt or something like that, or a map with drop shot. That way you can, or frags, you can throw frags and get healing. Plant frags get healing, things of that nature. So this should allow you to survive longer, but you got to be getting kills as opposed to you have to do explosive damage as opposed to just not doing anything. So Initiator, damaging a full health enemy taunted for 3.5 seconds. I haven't really seen this in effect in a long time, and you guys have. I honestly don't have much experience with this card, either first or second hand. So you let me know what you think of this card. I think Mac has a similar card that does work, that allows teammates to focus on him, while like a melee character can go for a Scion kill or something like that. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. It could be a good card. I haven't honestly used it in quite a while, if ever, honestly. So you let me know what you think of the Initiator card. Wingman used to be called Sisters to the End. Sisters to the End used to be Lizzie would get her all every, I think it was like 2 minutes, something super short. Now it's closer to, if you have it on, and maybe closer to like 3.5 minutes. So that I don't know why that is changed, because the Silverback, if I'm being totally honest, isn't that great. So I don't know why they nerfed the Silverback ultimate frequency, but Coalition's going to do what the Coalition's going to do. But at least the verbiage is now correct on the right and on the skill card. It said 2 different things before, and they finally, after all these operations, correct the verbiage. But basically, if you have this skill card on and you're one of 2 people, I'll just say it more clearly than even it says right here. If you're one of 2 people, or if you're solo, you're going to get your ultimate every about, I want to say 3 minutes or so. Unless you're doing damage, you'll get your ultimate more often. So that's one way to look at this skill card. Enforcer Expert, 40% increased damage and active effects. I noticed a buddy of mine was using it on the what map was that? The Malfunction, where the freezing Dead Eyes or freezing Peacemakers have all the enforcers. I saw him melt things pretty quickly with the Enforcer Expert card on. So this is a good card overall on that map because of the Sentinel possibilities and Devastator possibilities. Lizzie's not the best choice in terms of the Silverback and the fact that the Silverback can get frozen instantly, but it is a good choice because you can use the Enforcer Expert card if you want to. All right, exploding Buzzkill, equivalent of Buzzkill with 85% splash damage on kill. I haven't used the Buzzkill since the I think you get at level like what level do you get it at? Like level 4 or something like that. I haven't used it in a very, very long time. Since I've gotten into this class at a higher level, maybe above 16. Once you get to 16, you kind of rotate between Tri-Shot, Mulcher, and Salvo. It's been so long since I've used the Buzzkill. I don't think there's anyone on a master level that actually uses this card anymore. But I guess if you don't have access to Bleeding, Mulcher, Salvo, or Tri-Shot, you can use this skill card. But on a master level, I don't think the buzzkill really, even when you're using it as a regular gun, is all that effective. Explosive munitions, silverback kills while in defense mode can do 85% splash damage. Haven't used this card either since I've gotten a higher level Lizzie, but you honestly let me know what you think of this card. A lot of these cards I haven't used because they just don't carry over once you get to the higher difficulties. They don't carry over versus other cards. Anyway, but that's pretty much it for that card. So yeah, this one Initiator I haven't really done in a very long time since I've gotten a higher level pilot. Equip Ice Cannon. Equip an Ice Cannon with 50% increased freezing speed. This is an okay card. It works a little bit better than the regular Ice Cannon. It says 50%, but it feels like it's not even that great. But it has a lot of ammo. I'll give it that. I think it has like 360. I don't know if you call it bullets, but yeah, it has a lot of ammo. More ammo than the other one, and it does maybe a smidge faster. Like I've used it before a long time ago on the choke to freeze juvies, but ultimately, in general, it's either the bleeding mulch or the salvo or the tri shot that I would suggest you use. It's very rare that you'll use the ice cannon unless you're trying to, for score run purposes, headshot juvies, which if you're trying to headshot juvies, you would use the veteran class would be a better option than this class. Rear armor is probably the best card Pilot has, in my opinion. I'm very big on damage resistance. Here's why. So it reads as 60% resistance to damage taken from behind. But the thing about rear armor is the fact that if it doubles as venom resistance. So there's not many classes that can get 60% damage resistance in venom, basically. So I compare different defensive classes, and you can look in the comment section for that, or not comment section, but description, and you'll see how rear armor stacks against bait armor, venom resistance, and max crazy tough plus venom resistance. It's the best, or at least one of the best defensive classes, not including Cole's brawler class in the game. So I'm happy that I discovered that. That way, you guys can benefit from using rear armor in comparison to other cards for Lizzie, because maybe you didn't use rear armor at all, and I've seen other videos on YouTube where rear armor is now like a staple as a players 5-card stacks, I should say. So that's pretty much it for obviously score boost. Last but not least, 18% team score, increase in Horde, and 18% time bonus in Escape. But when it comes down to the example stack, I think I have it up already. So this is what I used for Horde, and I did a Jingle Juvies match, and this is what I used. So healing tri-shot, so I can get healing from this gun while also doing damage. Healing munitions because I'm running the silverback salvo. That way both guns are healing the silverback, which allows me to extend the duration of the silverback through not dying. It's as simple as that. Lizzie, the hammer is a good card because Lizzie spawns with a drop shot, and she has a skill card that allows her to do more damage with the drop shot, and also, or damage in general, and then also drop shot capacity, I think, increases all the way up to like 6, I believe, when you perk it up. So, and I don't know what the damage increase for the gold card goes to at higher levels, but I find it at level 4, it's really good. 3-second stun, I think, is pretty good in my estimation. So cold finish, damaging an enemy with low health, freezes it for 60%. Basically, if you so low health is under 25%, and then Lizzie touches it at all, it freezes. So I find this card to be very effective due to the fact that you can you stop really scions mainly. You can stop scions right in their tracks. You can stop a Swarmack if a Swarmack has a certain how to explain this. If it has a certain if it's low health and you have barriers that Lizzie has built, it can freeze a swarm at. At least that's what we used to be able to do in other operations. I haven't done it recently, but that's something that's very, very effective to freeze a swarm at to stop a big thing in its tracks. So to neutralize scions and different types of enemies right in their tracks is very useful and can make for a really good game. So this is the 5-card stack I used for Horde. The main difference is if it's an escape match, I might swap out instead of the hammer. I'll probably put on rear armor instead. That is the main difference between Horde and escape. But this is what I like to use. I know a lot of people probably think you need to bleed. I stand by being in the silverback longer and getting 2 healing guns. But that's pretty much it for pilot, guys. I haven't used Initiator in a while and Explosive Munitions. If you guys get benefit from these cards on a master level, you let me know. And Silverback Scorcher, if it's working now, I may do some like video tests to show its effectiveness, but if it's still not working, you don't have to comment that down below. But if it's working now, let me know. That way I can get updated information and update this video comment section. But that's pretty much it, guys. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And let me know what you think of the pilot skill card class now. Thanks for listening, guys. You guys have a good one. Peace.